Hi friends, welcome back. Now let us see the EJB source code. So what exactly is this EJB source code? So any EJB source code contains at least uh, interfaces, that is one home interface, one remote interface, then a bean class, then a deployment descriptor, and along with this, to work with this we need one servlet file, and we need a servlet or a JSP file, and along with this we need one HTML file or a JSP file to put forward the request. So how exactly these things are going to work now? So whenever we are talking about the home interface, so this is going to extend a package or the class called as EJB home, and herein we are having the functions for writing the factory pattern, or else I can say the business methods or business logic, whatever we are trying to write for finding a specific task, or let us say for finding a square root of a number, for finding an addition of two numbers, and so on, which are making use of the business logic, will be present inside this particular interface. Then along with this we may also have the create function present inside the entity bean, which we'll be seeing a little bit later. Then the create, which is used for creating a table or creating a database inside our database by making use of this entity bean. So we do have this particular functions present inside the home interface. So along with this we may also have the remote interface as well, and by making use of the remote interface we can have the business methods whatever we want inside this. So in the home interface most of the times we are having only the methods which are used for the factor pattern or the create, that is working for the entity. So factory pattern in the sense for it works for the session beans, and when we are working with the create and find, it works for the entity bean. So when we are making use of the remote interface, it is going to extend the EJB object, so which is also one interface, and it is also having the business methods, and also it has the proxy pattern. Now why do we need this remote interface and home interface? Okay, I will be telling you after the explanation of bean class and the deployment descriptor. So bean class. So bean class is the one which contains all the variables whatever we need inside this particular application, and it is having all the get methods and the set methods need required for the particular bean class. Along with that, it is also having the methods for creation, then the business methods and so on. So all these methods are present inside the bean class. So it may be in the form of entity bean, or it may be in the form of session bean. So it has to extend the respective bean whenever it is going to have the bean class. So it is written in .java file. So home interface, remote interface, this is also written in the form of Java file. Then we have the deployment descriptor, where we are going to have the description about the deployment. Like we have the deployment descriptor for our servlets, we have even the XML file which has the deployment description for all the these three things to work inside the container of our EJB. Now to work with this particular program, what we do is we just try to make use of let us say a HTML file which is being forwarded to a JSP or the servlet. So the servlet or the JSP file, in turn what it does is it makes use of the bean class. Then the bean class will be having the methods, right? So it will be using some of the object present inside the this one bean class. It will be in the form of a .class file inside our application. Now what we do is whenever we want to make use of this, then we create an object for remote interface object, which is called as EJB object. So we create the object for remote interface which contains the business methods. So by making use of these business methods, we are just trying to call them. So to call the methods present inside our application or the bean class, we need some reference. So for that we are making use of the EJB object of, that is remote interfaces object. Then this particular interface will be having one proxy pattern or the URL of where exactly these things are present. So it will call the methods present inside the home interface, and this in home interface is going in turn to bean class, and the bean class methods will be executed, and we will be getting the output through home interface to remote interface. Then whatever code we are writing inside the JSP or the servlet to give the output, that will be given as the output. So let us see once again how exactly this looks like. So whenever we are making use of home, which is nothing but interface, we make use of create or find. This is for queries. So create is for creation of tables, find is for writing the queries. So here we are making use of home object stub, which is a remote interface, and home object, which is nothing but our uh, this one home interfaces object. Then next we have the EJB, where we have the EJB object stub, and the EJB object stub is making use of calling the functions present inside the uh, bean. So whatever bean is containing the methods, business methods, those business methods will be called by making use of the EJB object stub. So along with this, we are making use of even the EJB object as well. So the bean, which is nothing but the entity or the .class file, is our original enterprise Java bean object. So how exactly this work? So whenever we are making use of a client, then let us see, we are making use of a home stub. So when he is trying to make use of the home stub, that is, he doesn't want to make use of any container services, then he will make use of the home stub. Then he is going to contact this one J2W application server's home stub. He will be getting the home object access. Then he is making use of the home object. Then he will be returning the things. So here he is making use of RMI, that is remote method invocation, with the ORB protocol, that is object request broker protocol. So he will be making use of that. Then if he is trying to make use of any EJB object, then he needs to create the EJB object in the form of object stub. Then he will be having that object stub being created inside the J2W application server. He will be having the access to the EJB. Then he will be getting the output from the concerned EJB object things. So JNDI stands for Java Naming and Directory Interface, which helps in contacting the client to the container in the form of making use of RMI, that is Internet Inter ORB protocol. So when we are using this, the Java and naming directory knows exactly what is the name of the object, what is the name of the file we are trying to search for. Something like whenever we are trying to make use of packages, so where the packages are there, where the JSP files are located, where the HTML files are located, where the .class files are located. So all these things will be maintained by the JNDI. So how we are going to make use of the EJB? Now EJB uses something called as context, that is context object. Here we are making use of some new initial context, which is the default one. So we are creating the object called as CTX, which is going to refer to the Java naming and directory interface to LDAP or other directory service. So there are many directory services. One of them is JNDI. So we make use of bean home equals to ctx dot lookup. So this will be understood when we are working with the remote method invocation, that is RMI. So here we are making use of the interface called as bean home, and it is making use of the lookup function. So the lookup function is calling the JNDI to look for the object called as my bean in the context of bean home. So here it container finds creates the factory. Then bean remote, it is used for creation of our bean object inside the container. Then bean.do something, it is a business method proxy. Then how to get started? So to get started with any EJB, the hard way is download, as usual, install and implement the J2W reference implementation using the Cloudscape and so on. So the easy way is select IDE, J2EE support often in Enterprise Edition. So we have the free sources like 40 and NetBeans. So this is with respect to old versions, but when we want to have a new versions, then just go to Oracle site. There we can get the Java 7 and above. So download any of the things. So it is going to help us to install the NetBeans along with the Maven and so on, but it is not going to make use of the EJB. So for that we need to make use of installing the NetBeans component as well for EJB. So we go to netbeans.org website. There we have NetBeans 6 and above. Anything we can just download them and try to install them and make use of the IDE. So the hard way is make use of the reference of Cloudscape and try to use all the command line arguments or command line things for working with the any EJB type of programs. So this ends the EJB introduction. So in the next session we'll see how exactly EJB is going to function in all the other aspects for enterprise applications. Thank you.